Over the past couple of months, I've been digging deep into my childhood traumas from having too much unsupervised internet access as a kid, and I've been making this series where I try to find the origins to some disturbing images throughout the internet's history. This topic has been done quite a few times, so I'm making sure to only cover more less known and obscure images from all corners of the internet that, like I said, personally used to freak me out growing up, and maybe even used to scare you as well. If you were like me and watched a lot of creepypastas or just general scary stories on the internet in the early 2010s, then there's a really good chance that you've seen this image. This image was tied to a ton of scary content from around the same time that the internet started to be flooded with Wendigo and cryptid content. I specifically remember seeing it on a scary story from back in 2013 on YouTube titled "Don't Open the Door," although I can't find the exact video now that I'm looking for it. I've seen this image more recently be posted to sites like Pinterest, and like I mentioned, there's a ton of cryptid pages that repost it a lot, but I never see them give credit to the original creator. Oh, I didn't know this until researching for this video, but this image is also used for SCP-1471. This image gives a ton of the same vibes as the werewolf on the stairs image that we covered in the first part of this series, and hopefully unlike that image, this isn't just someone's fursona. We can see that this is most likely a costume though, or at least a mask, and not a Photoshop job of a skull, but we really can't see what the rest of the body looks like, so we can't say for certain right now. We also don't have much to go off of for the location that this image was taken in, but it looks to be like a school or an office building. So where did this image come from? First things first, plugging it into a reverse image search like TinEye shows us tons of results, with the earliest being different reposts made to DeviantArt in early 2013. The very first account that posted the image is now deactivated, and almost all of the other accounts don't have any credits or sources for the image and appear to just be reposts. There are a ton of alters to the image, like this black and white one that would eventually become the SCP-1471 image, but again, these don't provide any help in finding the origins, and they're just basic alters. TinEye has let me down several times throughout this series, so I decided to try dragging the image into Google Lens, and that's when I found this. This is a DeviantArt post by user Tarangriff from Halloween 2011 titled "Don't Open the Door," which is actually the same title that I remembered from a lot of the videos on YouTube that were associated with the image. The post caption reads, "Brenz, the zombie werewolf, lurking at the Travelodge Hotel before leaving for the MCM London Expo on Saturday 29th October 2011. The other guests found him quite unsettling. Damn it, I'm starting to think that this is just someone's persona again." Doing a Google search for Brenz, the zombie werewolf, I was able to find a ton of more images of the mask, along with the website Clockwork Creature, which actually created the mask. According to this comment on Reddit, Clockwork Creature usually never gets credited when people share their work around, which makes sense as to why the origins of the "Don't Open the Door" image were hard to find. It seems like over the years, while I was feeling terrified of the image, other people had some different feelings for it. Usually when I find the origins of an image that used to scare me, it ceases to scare me completely. However, some of the fan art and things I've seen made from this image ended up scaring me even more than the original image itself. Since the dawn of photo editing software, it's been a bit of a trend to create 3D realistic renders of popular 2D characters from all sorts of movies, video games, and cartoons. This was more rampant than ever in the 2000s with the release of more powerful art software and the prevalence of photo and art sharing image boards and websites. These images would eventually spread to other popular sites like YouTube and Flash game sites, which made them pretty hard to avoid if you were a kid scrolling on the internet during this time. It was also pretty hard to avoid not pissing your pants if you were an easily scared kid like I was and stumbled across this picture of Homer Simpson's realistic eyeballs bulging out of his head. If you've seen the realistic Homer image, then you've also most likely seen this image of a realistic Mario as well. Both of these images have the same vibes, and I'm pretty sure they were made by the same creator. You couldn't watch or play anything related to Mario on the internet in the late 2000s without seeing this image pop up, and it used to freak me out so bad every time I saw it. I really think it's the eyes that do it more than anything. Also, do we really need to give realistic Mario crow's feet? He looks like he'd be on an episode of To Catch a Predator. Just like with the Bungie image we covered in the last video, I thought I was the only one that was creeped out by these realistic cartoon images, but while researching for this video, I found a ton of other people who were also freaked out by them, which made me feel a little bit better. If these images were definitely created by the same person, who was it that was creating them? That didn't take me very long to find out, as just doing some basic Google searches, I found this Reddit post from 18 years ago. Just scrolling through some of the comments, I was able to... What? His Homer is on the verge of nauseating, but for some reason I can't stop trying to picture what it would be like to have the Homer stroking my leg and whispering into my ear. I wish whoever is doing this would either stop or do sexy cartoon women instead. This and Mario are just gross. What were these guys on? I was able to see a comment from user Mac Prime who provided this link to a blog spot for an artist titled Pixeloo. Further searching Pixeloo's name, I also found the original uploads to DeviantArt where he titled his realistic renders Untooned. This is the first time I've seen the images with their proper watermarks, as every re-upload removes the watermarks, which is pretty messed up. Nowadays, it's still super common to see realistic images of animated characters, but only because AI art has become more accessible to people. While I was doing research for this video, I had to dig through tons of AI generated images that have toppled over Pixeloo's original art, which makes me kinda sad, despite me being freaked out by his art as a kid. Growing up on the internet in the late 2000s, it was like a full-time job to try and avoid screamers and jump scares that were sprinkled throughout every corner of the internet. I remember developing a sixth sense and eventually would just know when a screamer is about to be placed in a game or a video I'm watching. While there was a ton of different iconic screamer images that would be reused to make me wet my Angry Birds shorts, there's always been one that stayed with me as I got older. This image of a grayish blue smiling face was used in a ton of these jump scares and screamers, and I always wondered where the face came from. It feels like this image was shown to me so much as I was growing up. Like I remember I saw this face more than any other screamer image during the time. It followed me around so bad that even when I was in like middle school playing Gmod horror maps, it would be used for jump scares in that too. So where did this infamous screamer image come from? First things first, plugging the image into a reverse image search, I was able to find one of the earliest instances of the image on the internet from July 2008 on a wallpaper sharing website. I don't really know why you'd want this as your wallpaper, but I decided to check the comments on the wallpaper sharing website, and a few of the comments were calling this face the cockmongler. At first I thought this was just some random raunchy thing that people were calling him, but I decided to look the name up, and that's when I found this. This is from the Know Your Meme page for Cockmongler, which was created in 2009. Look familiar? According to Know Your Meme, this image was first posted to an old website called The World's Largest Dinosaur back in 2004. This was a website for a large dinosaur sculpture located in Alberta, Canada, and in the Fun Stuff tab on the website, that's where the image of the man was first posted, with the caption, "A prime example of too much time at the world's largest dinosaur." From there, the image spread to 4chan and was being used as a meme and was being photoshopped to death, usually in edits where the man's face is planted onto an animal or some sort of creature. 4chan is also where it got the name the Cockmongler, although I'm not really sure how they came up with that. Most of the time, users on 4chan would use the photoshopped images of the man to troll or to scare others, and that's where we got the edited version that we all know and love. I mean, not that you really needed to edit it much. Sometimes users would actually just put an unedited picture of the man's face in the background of some other images, and that also got the job done of scaring people. Whenever someone's photo is repurposed into something like this, I always wonder if the person in the image is aware that they're a meme or being used to scare people. Thankfully, I found this image from 2008 of a 4chan post where OP saw the cockmongler walking around at a convention and asked him if he's aware of his online infamy, to which he said yes. OP also got this photo of him. Usually in these videos, I like to cover at least one image that isn't traditionally scary, but still gave me a feeling of being disturbed when I first saw it. These images usually come from the early days of YouTube, where the theme was more random equals funny, so you had creators trying to make the most random raunchy things that they could think of in an attempt to be funny. But what comes out just ends up being super uncanny and freaky to look at. We've covered a few examples of this in past videos, but another big example of this that used to freak me out pretty bad when I was a kid was this gif of this running two-legged horse. Just like with Bunchy or the Rat Girl image that we covered, this was another one of those uncanny images that you would randomly stumble across while watching something completely unrelated. I remember seeing it constantly throughout those old Try Not to Laugh videos back in the late 2000s, with the gif being looped and the song Chacarón playing in the background. While I understand now that it's supposed to be funny, my kid mind could just not help but be terrified of it. I think I didn't like how fast it was running, and how he just created so much turbulence when he ran. Like something in my primal mind just thought to be scared of it. When looking back to those old Try Not to Laugh videos, I was able to find an even earlier viral instance of this gif all the way from late 2007. This video claims to be the original, and even has over 60 million views. When I looked through the comments, I was relieved to see that there were dozens of other people who were also scared of this gif growing up. Since this video claims to be the original, I decided to check the description of the video, and the channel who posted it says, "Disclaimer, all rights go to who originally made the graphics for this video." So if this isn't the original, where does this gif actually come from? Plugging the image into Google Lens, the very first instance I could find for the GIF was from a site called YTMND, or You're the Man Now Dog, which is an older meme sharing website. This post of the horse was from January of 2006 and was titled LOL Horse. This version is slightly different from the original, and I didn't bother searching through the uploader's account, as in the caption of this post, they vaguely give credit to 4chan for the GIF. Using YTMND, I was also able to find some other GIFs of two-legged running animals from mid-2006 to 2007 that were clearly inspired by the running horse GIF. I was actually able to find the creator of these GIFs, and they were created by popular animator Syriac, and were just made using inspiration from the horse, as Syriac doesn't claim to have created the horse GIF, sadly. It's kinda crazy, he nailed the style down. I was like in awe when I found out that he didn't create the horse GIF as well. Sadly, that's pretty much all I have regarding the origins. If the origins of the GIF really did come from somewhere like 4chan, then that could make this so much more harder to find, as a lot of the stuff on those older image and text boards just aren't archived, especially if the original post got deleted at some point. I also found the Know Your Meme page for the GIF, but it didn't give me any information that I didn't already have, and it also claims that the original creator hasn't been found. If anyone has any information regarding the creator, or just any experiences with seeing the GIF from a while back, please let me know in the comments, because I've been stumped on this one for a minute now, and I'd love to find out more information on it. About a month ago, I made a retrospective video on internet chain letters and copypastas, which you should definitely check out after this video if you're interested. In that video, I covered a lot of the horror chainmail that was spread around with the intention of scaring people. The most infamous case of this was the Carmen Winstead chain letter. Even if you don't remember this chain letter, a lot of you will still most likely know of it because it's been memed to death in the last few years. Back in the late 2000s when it was spreading like crazy, it was popularly associated with this image. This image used to freak me out so much and added a ton to the already eerie story that the chain letter contained. You already know that I was filling Grandma's inbox with Carmen Winstead chain letters because I didn't want this creature appearing in my bathroom at night, or whatever the chain letter said was going to happen. I can't even remember. This image stretches farther than just the chain letter though, as I've seen it used in just general scary content over the years, and more recently it's been used as the image for SCP-899, also known as Lost Children. So where did the image come from? First things first, plugging the image into TinEye, we're able to see hundreds of matches as it was a pretty popular image. A lot of the earlier instances of the image are from early 2008 and feature a slightly altered version of the image that has some text in the top left reading, "Hi friends." None of these instances were giving me anything to go off of, so I decided to plug the image into Google Lens, and that's when I found this Reddit post on r/creepypasta of some users also speculating where the original image came from. I found a comment from user NecoFan18 who laid out their investigation so far. I saw that they claimed the earliest instance they could find was from a DeviantArt post that they linked titled "Seriously Scary" by a user named Steel Ghost. However, they weren't sure if it's the original or not. If you've been paying attention, then you know that like 60% of the time the origins are just going to be on DeviantArt. So I decided to look into this DeviantArt post, and I found that it was from all the way back in 2004, which would make it older than anything that the reverse image searches gave me. But that wasn't enough for me, so I decided to scour Steel Ghost's DeviantArt account, and that's when I found this post from 2002. I could immediately recognize that this is the girl used in the "Seriously Scary" image, and the caption of this post confirms it for me too. I'm still not sure how the creator is related to the girl, but I'm assuming it's an older relative of hers that made the scary image for fun. I wonder if she knows how many people she's freaked out over the years. Come to think of it, she probably would have been in middle school by the time the Carmen Winstead chain letter was circulating, so I wonder if someone tried to scare her with it, only for her to realize the photo being used was actually of herself. Thank you guys so much for watching. Were there any obscure and disturbing images that I missed? Let me know in the comments. I officially made a playlist for this series, so if you're interested in more, definitely go check that out. I know I said in the past that I was hesitant to make more parts to this series because I didn't just want to cover the same images that everyone else has covered and have this series turn into slop, but I've been able to find even more obscure images, and I'm happy to keep making these videos as long as you guys enjoy them. I'm also not against covering some images that you guys suggest, as long as they haven't been covered a ton already. So for sure leave some suggestions if you have an image you want to see me cover, and I'll check it out. I read all of my comments, so I'll definitely see it. Thank you guys again for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, as it helps me out a ton. That's all from me. Have yourselves a damn good one.